Welcome to NinonSpeaks. I'm Nino de Verde Rosa, and I have right next to me my co-host, which is AJ Dean, and my two guests below me. And we've had a little sort of slowness in starting this program today, so my apologies to my two guests. I don't introduce the guests, so let me turn it over to AJ, and I'll get out of my flutter. I'm all in a flutter. I want to calm down. Take it over, AJ.
Thank you so much, Ninon. Well, I am thrilled tonight. Look at the gorgeous ladies that we have with us. What a blessing and a gift we have. We have a wonderful show tonight. I'm going to introduce the gorgeous and beautiful Sex Posi Sheba. She is a sex and intimacy coach at Body Joy Intimacy School. And yes, and hello, Sheba, and hello to Melissa D. She's a provocateur, an intimacy coach, and somatic sex educator, and owner of Body Joy Intimacy School. It is my great pleasure to welcome a very warm welcome to both of you. Hello, lovely ladies. How are you?
Hi. Thank you so much, AJ, for having me.
This is amazing to have both of you. I'm truly don't quite know where to start, since this is going to be kind of a sex program.
Sex sells, Ninon.
Sex, oh yeah, are you kidding? It's never going to stop selling, and it's always going to be there, that's for sure. Let's go over to Shelby. Shelby, you're looking absolutely lovely. What brought you into the business you're in? Because you look very happy that you're in it.
Oh, yes. I am Sex Posi Sheba, so that's short for sex positive. I'm a sex educator and a sex and intimacy coach. I'm a practitioner of Melissa D's school, Body Joy Intimacy School, and I lead amazing workshops around sex exploration and body positivity, and work with women on connecting with their bodies and just being more empowered.
You know, it's funny what you do. Obviously, I'm from Europe. And when you talk about your body and sex and romance, it's totally different in Europe than it is in America.
Oh, tell us.
Yeah, maybe I'll be teaching it soon.
What is it like there?
Well, the whole thing is totally different. It's more romantic at the beginning. They don't feel ashamed of their bodies. A majority of them don't. They're not so outgoing regarding the sex part of a relationship at the beginning. Most women honor their bodies before they dive into having this sex. America is buy you dinner and squeeze it out of you. I'm like, I think AJ is having a total heart attack there.
Yeah. Well, I think we have kind of the similar take on it. Melissa D, do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, Melissa, I was just going over to see what she's got to say about this sex thing.
Yeah, well, in America, there's a lot of people that are learning to just have their own desires, learn how to ask for what it is they want, to feel comfortable. So that's what I teach, is getting people to communicate better, clearer, and more authentically, because sometimes sex can be a very theatrical experience. We're trying to, mimic what we see on television or what we think our partner is hot, instead of really moving and being in a place that really is coming from us.
Now, you said a very interesting word. You said ask for what you want.
Yeah.
I can never remember ever asking for what I wanted in Europe. It was a natural thing that came along. It was not something that I had to explain, because we seem to have something definitely different, because we would, if we automatically wanted to do whatever we wanted to do, we would both want to do it. Now, if we both didn't want to do it, we wouldn't do it, or he would go his way and I would go my way, or whatever the case may be. But there was never this, asking, like talking about, well, what building are you going to buy today and how many bedrooms do you want? I mean, it was like, whereas, so what is this questioning of what you want, Melissa?
Well, I think, a lot of people just acquiesce again to put their own needs and desires aside and let someone else, and usually it's a gender thing, but not always. So let the man lead and make all the decisions. I mean, I just had a client last night that, she was very sheepish. Her desires had never been talked about, which I think is just wild because, but it's so common. It is really common.
And do you find that, Sheba, do you find that common as well?
Yes, I find that a lot of people have to really have a sexual awakening or kind of a discovery of their own body and how they enjoy having pleasure before they can really open that up and give that or share that with another person. I think a lot of times it's a lot of assumption of what we think we want or what we think the other person wants, and really it's about knowing what you find desirable or knowing what brings you arousal, and also opening that conversation with the other person and kind of finding out what really feeds them and is nourishing to them.
Do you think that, well, I guess it's not think, actually, it's why do women feel ashamed of their bodies? And when a woman is young and, we're going to go over 18, obviously, or 21, whatever the age is, why are they so shy and ashamed? They're ashamed of their bodies. And I've often wondered why. A man is not, I know he's the masculine, it comes on. I'm sure there's some men that are ashamed. I don't know. I'm not. Yeah. I don't run around with men all the time, but thank goodness. But why do women, laughing, Melissa, yeah, it's funny. But why, I'll ask you this, Melissa, why do women feel ashamed of a beautiful body? I mean, it doesn't matter whether they're skinny or slim or fat or what they are, it doesn't make any difference. Why are they ashamed of their bodies?
Yeah, I think it is, our culture, the magazines, the movies of portraying what is normal, what is most desirable, and what is best. I mean, I just led a women's workshop out in the desert, and we did a workshop on letting women see other women's vulvas in just a very sweet way, because we haven't really seen other people's vulvas except for what we see in porn or magazines, which is all great. But if you're only used to seeing a certain kind or shape or color, then you begin to feel, or I've noticed a lot of my female clients, that something's wrong with them. And so we need to normalize that, just like our noses and our ears and even our eyes, they all look different, and all of them are magnificent. But our culture, again, cherry picks at what they think is most beautiful, most desirable, genitals included. So
it's actually like your body first. It's really like yourself. That's the big thing we seem to be teaching out there. I seem to be teaching this all the time. And my message, is sit in your bedroom, because that to me is a very quiet, tranquil place to go to where you could have peace of mind and not really worry about anything. And go there and sit and just, calculate yourself as who you are and what you are and like yourself. I think that's one of the problems, that we don't like ourselves, and we think, whereas men don't have that problem, and it's because they're masculine, or because being feminine, I know that we, it's nice to be shy and sort of bring that in front of a man. He likes that, I think. I don't know. I've done that in such a long
I have a question. I have a question for Sex Posi Sheba. I recently saw a Instagram post that had pictures of goddesses throughout history, and they were voluptuous like me and you, Sex Posi Sheba. Isn't that true?
Yes, it's very true. I think that history can show you that women have been adored and worshipped in all shapes and sizes, including voluptuous sizes. And it's mainstream media that portrays this aspirational skinny figure, but really I find that a lot of people really love voluptuous women and curves, and there's been kind of a a resurgence, like the Dove campaign was a good example of embracing women of all shapes and sizes. And I consider myself a body positive activist. I'm a pinup model and a burlesque performer. And, it's a part of my mission statement to, show by example, leading by example of like loving my body in the way that it is right now. And I find that, working with clients, even men have some, issues with their body. And I think what's beautiful about the work that me and Melissa do is people get to be invited to come into their body. And I think that that's something that's really not normal for a lot of people, or it's not, it's not something that they go to right away, but just coming into the body. For me, I had a lot of awakening through dance and through yoga, just doing something that was like coming into my body. And I think that as a sex coach, that's what we're doing, is we're inviting people to come back into their body and really have like a positive relationship with it so that they can open up in new and exciting ways.
Thank you so much. I love that. I'm sorry, go ahead, Ninon.
Just say, Melissa, what's your take on it, on AG's question?
On men, I was kind of following the thread. There was a couple of things that stuck out to me is I mostly see women that have a lot of like body dysmorphia and feeling really embarrassed and ashamed of their genitals, their hips, their ass, their legs, all the things. But there are many men that feel very inadequate, or they're not masculine enough, or they don't have the pecs that they see in the magazines, or whatever. I worked with so many men that feel a lot of shame around their bodies. And so they too need to learn how to be confident in themselves and look inward and be who they are. And it sometimes is a journey.
That's a very good point, because I think if women understood that, we always feel that the woman, she can't get a date, well, we forget that also a man can't get a date. And then we feel that we're ashamed of our bodies, and men are not ashamed of their bodies. They are ashamed. And you're absolutely right, Melissa. They actually we all have the same problem. And it's like just getting over that hump when you start dating and you start getting used to each other and you start feeling a little bit more comfortable. I'm going to switch over now to chemistry. I am fascinated with chemistry. I think this is the most amazing thing. I just met somebody, I'm not going to go into detail, but the chemistry, and if I could bottle chemistry, I'd be a multimillionaire, but obviously I can't. I'm trying. I'm trying to see if I can. But so what, Melissa, what is chemistry? How would you describe it?
I mean, there's no words. I mean, you can't fake the funk. It's there or it's not. Yep. I know some people that say it's all about pheromones, but I tell you, I can look in someone's direction without smelling their body and getting a sense of their voice, because those are the things that turn me on. It's like the way someone carries themselves and their sound, their scent, and so there's so many things. But when I look at someone, I know within a couple seconds if there's chemistry or not. And sometimes that could, move up the scale the more time I spent with them, and sometimes it moves down. Maybe their personality isn't really a fit, or maybe there's something else. But chemistry is either there or isn't. I gotta say. You're
right, absolutely, because you can look at somebody, as you said, across the room. You can look at that person, and you can go, wow, and you get that sort of shivery thing goes through your body, and you're thinking to yourself, is the same thing happening to him or her? And so you look at it and you think, what's going on here? And then, you slowly drift towards each other because it's like a magnet. Mm-hmm. Is that right, Sheba? Is it like a magnet?
Yeah, definitely. I think
you can't help it.
It's all about body language and confidence, and like that kind of attraction that you have, and kind of leaning into what it is that is intriguing about another person.
What was the quote that I heard, that if you want to know who I like, it's who I'm not talking to in the room? I don't know who said that, but I think that's hilarious, because I can catch myself going, oh my God, because I'll feel it, but I'm like, wait a second. If I want something, I'm going to go after it. So I have to be like the pursuer.
That's true. So, Sheba, do you have more women customers or men customers finding out who they are about sex?
Actually, I have both. I work with men, I work with women, I work with couples. And so I have a lot of, everyone has, something that they're bringing to the table. Everybody has the issues that they want to work with, just like therapy, and things that they want to get better at. A lot of people, are dating. A lot of people are looking for relationships.
Yes.
Like, it's not just sex that clients come to. Some are just like learning how to have a new relationship with themselves and love themselves. And so doing workshops where I'm teaching sensual movement. Like, everybody kind of is coming with their own thing that they want to work on. And so it really depends on the clients, but I have both men and women that I work with.
That you work, yes, but also who's the most prominent one? But as I said before, men have just as much of a problem trying to attack or get hold of a woman as a woman does trying to find a man. It's the same thing, but we don't think of the man's point of view, and he has just as many problems. Maybe not that man, but it'll be the other man. And I think it's sort of, I think it's something we need to loosen up on. So, Melissa, what advice would you give for men and women, to kind of loosen up and not be so afraid of actually talking to somebody, or even sort of trying something different, that they have a desire within their body, and this particular person has turned them on to that, but they're afraid because they don't want to be quote unquote, named that they do different things,
Yeah, I work with primarily men. I mean, I definitely work for another company called Back to the Body, who works with women. I do a lot of retreats, but one-on-one work, and also other men's retreats like the Apollo Project, teaching men how to really sit in the root of their genitals, really be there and be able to speak powerfully and know that they're worthy of love, worthy of attention, and they are desirable. And so getting that confidence up, and it just takes practice. We can talk about concepts, but and this is where the somatic piece comes from, is we need to practice having new experiences and practice really following our intuition and being with our breath and with our desire, and have safer spaces to speak about that. And that's why our work, Sheba and I, is so important, as we create that space for people to practice.
I think it's very, very extremely important, this sex thing, because everybody in the entire world has sex one way or another. I don't care which way you look at it, and it's not going out the window anywhere. It's like music. Music is here to stay. We have music. Yeah. It's never going to leave. Sex is never going to leave. It's two people coming together, whichever sex they are, whatever they choose. Doesn't
two
really...
or five,
I'm sorry?
I said 2 or 5. I mean, there's people that love group sex.
Well, yeah, that's another thing, who wants what and how many. And, I mean, I'm living in a town where I think anything happens here. I have not experienced it because that's not my way of going, but I'm not offended by anyone. Anyone wants to do whatever they want to do, go ahead. It's up to them completely. It's AJ, I know you want to ask a question.
Yes, I thank you so much, Ninon. I wanted to ask Melissa, this is so fascinating, and it's such a wonderful, intriguing subject. Did you create your company because you saw that there was such a need for this, and like Sex Posi Sheba mentioned, it was kind of taboo before? Did you want to bridge the gap between that so people could feel more comfortable with everything in the world? It could bring more of a community that everything is sexual, animals, people, and even the moon and the sun, that has its own female, male kind of thing too. What do you think, Melissa?
I bought the company about 3 years ago from a wonderful woman who's now retired. She's in her 70s. Her name is Dr. Charla Hathaway. And I was looking for a mentor because I wanted to work with someone that really had years of experience, and she's like the fairy godmother of sex and intimacy. She's really a neat lady. And I just knew that there was a need and a desire for myself, and I just have a gift coaching people, and I actually have a whole background in clinical hypnotherapy as well. So this was, this is something that took about 11 years to fully, translate into what it is now, but I'm just following what I find exciting, what I'm really good at. And yes, there's a need, and I'm really good facilitating that change. So,
Melissa, are you married?
I am not. I do have I do have existing relationships that are all very important to me, and I have a young son who's now 11. So, yeah, that's where I'm at.
That's what about you, Ash? I keep calling you Sheba because I love the name Sheba. I think it's beautiful.
Yes, call me Sheba. That's great.
I just love the name. Are you married?
I am not married. No, I have a partner, but I'm a single woman still.
And you have any children?
No, I aspire to have a pug though.
Okay.
We love
pugs. A dog.
That's my goals.
Pets.
That's my goals. Yeah.
But that's okay. I don't have any children either, and I'm not about to have anybody. Number one, I don't have a guy. Number two, I think I may be a little bit too old. I'm not quite sure because in the Bible they have Sarah who did so whatever. I won't go there. But anyway, what would you suggest to a young lady who feels herself so incompetent and feels like sort of she can't sort of get over this threshold of opening herself up? No pun intended.
You know what I recommend for most people just starting out is become a good receiver. So if that means you hire a professional or you get some guidance so your partner can help you with this, but receiving erotic body work so that there's no obligation to take care of the other person is a beautiful way to start kind of melting and getting into your body and practicing just the art of receiving and being able to move in your body and move the pleasure around and make it, beyond just the genitals, but really make it to where it's a full body.
The top to bottom.
Yes, everything.
So in other words, lose yourself in your passion that you are, entering into a passion with whomever, and enjoy it. Don't worry about it's only going to be this area or it's only going to be that area.
Right.
That's why erotic massages, pleasure is a teacher, and most people that I work with have a very interesting relationship to pleasure. And so that's where we start. We start like, what are your thoughts about it? Are there places in your body that feel uncomfortable? And so body work in a low pressure, beautiful environment really can help a lot of that. And it's fun.
Yeah.
What do you think, Sheba? Is that try and lose yourself in the situation you're in? Just let go of everything.
Yes. And I teach a workshop called Being of Service, and it's about body worship. And so I like to teach people how to just come into approaching their partner's bodies and coming from a place of worship and really taking their time and just like loving and adoring their body. And that's something that I like to do with my partner. It's something that I like, to be given to me. And I think it's also a really good tool and resource, especially for people in relationships. I've worked with couples and used that as like a tool to kind of help them to connect with each other. And sensual massage, like Melissa said, is just a really amazing resource to kind of get into, that sensual place and touching your partner and in kind of a way that's coming.
And not being worried. I mean, however they are, whatever they look like. Now, this is one thing that I don't know if I will ask this. Who should start the relationship? You've been out on a date, you've had a lovely time, and kind of it's your first date, and the woman's feeling like, I like this guy, and he's kind of likes you too. And so he invites you back to his place or go to her place, whatever the situation is. Who should start sort of the relationship, or should it be a compatible thing together?
When you say relationship, do you mean like sexual activity or making?
I don't know, wherever it will go. Who would start the kissing first? Who would start holding hands first? Who would start the actual sort of, maybe we count this as a first date. How would a woman react? Does she feel ashamed or bad if she goes and takes his hand or she gives him a kiss on the cheek? Because I know that women can do that and get away with it because the man loves it anyway.
With each person that I meet, when I look over my whole life of relationships, whether they're one night stands, which I'm terrible at, by the way, or if they're things that are longer or, flirtations, there's attunement and there's energy that's different with each person. And so I may lean into someone and go, maybe I do feel like reaching out and making the first move, whether it's like moving my hand up their leg or asking, may I kiss you in a very sexy way? Because I like to ask permission if I'm not getting clear yeses. And it can also be really sexy and fun. And I've also been really approached with strong energy from the masculine, and that can be really hot too, as long as that's what I'm wanting. So I think it just depends. I like someone that can read the room instead of just assuming and being impulsive in their movements and stuff. I don't know if that answers the question.
I have to interrupt. I'm sorry, you have to wrap it up.
Just one more thing. You have to just say something. I asked the man if I could kiss him. I've never asked a man if I can kiss him. I just
try it once, like lean in and say,
I just
kiss you right now.
Get it.
You would die.
That's amazing. Sheba, how can people reach you to get hold of you and to straighten their lives out in their sexual habits?
Yes, you can find me. I have a website, shebaqueenofthenight.com. You can also email me at sheba@bodyjoy.org, and you can follow me on my social media, Facebook at ShebaQOTN, and Instagram is at Sex Posi Sheba.
Wonderful. And what about you, Melissa?
You can find me at bodyjoy.org. Melissa at bodyjoy.org is my email. And you can also follow Body Joy Intimacy School on Instagram.
Fabulous. AJ, last words. Want to say something?
Thank you so much. We have learned so much more than I ever wanted to. I mean, it's just amazing.
Great. Right. AJ, is Jeff in trouble tonight? That's her husband.
I'm going to have a great time now.
He's going to go all this information and plow in there.
I want to thank our lovely ladies. Thank you.